Hi there. You. I know you. You've been here before. As I recall, we spent a little time together exploring some of these rooms. However, when last I saw you in the forest, I thought we'd meet up the following morning. When you weren't there, I assumed you'd gone back to somewhere like Stormstone Keep. I feel like you enjoyed it there. And so I went on my way. Is that what happened, or did you somehow find your way back? Surely not. So you're telling me that after visiting some of these lovely places, not only did you choose not to stay, but you went back and now you find yourself returned. Is that right? Well, I am still here, mapping everything out, and I am now quite the expert in going between all these places, finding my way in, finding my way out, looking out for all the dangerous things, avoiding them, etc. What do you say? I assume, as you've come back, you've decided that here is where you would like to spend the rest of your time. And where we went before, possibly not exciting enough? Would you like to go and look at some more places? Yeah. I knew you'd be down for some fun. Let's start with here, which we really didn't do last time. I was more interested in trying to find out a little bit more about you, but I know all I need to know at this point. How about if I left you here? I mean, it is more dangerous than it looks here, but I could leave you here. I mean, this room never really changes. Would it make you anxious if nothing changed? It's been like this for years and years. I've no reason to believe that it would suddenly change or move or anything like that. I mean, does the place where you end up staying need to have a purpose? Okay, well, fair enough. And how do you think you'd get on here? Is your memory good? Could you mark the path in your mind? I would certainly recommend against leaving any physical clues as to where you are. And you have the hum of the electricity. I mean, I find that quite comforting. I don't know if it would irritate you over time or if a sound played repetitively is something that you would enjoy. And how long do you think you could walk without arriving anywhere before that sent you mad? Okay, makes sense, I suppose. And are you any good with artificial light? Because here there is never any darkness. Ever. Could you sleep in this light? After a long day mapping out these rooms, I could sleep anywhere. Especially as I've often been chased. Depending on where you go, don't worry about that too much at this point. Speaking of that though, if there was something in the walls, how quickly do you think you'd notice? So reasonably quickly, I think it might be too late by the time you've gotten on to what those noises are. Something to work on, perhaps. And even though you're never, well, truly alone in any of these rooms, would you be comfortable being alone? Because I don't live here. You might see a lot of people fleetingly. This tends to be where people begin. They tend not to stay awfully long, though. Depends how you prefer to meet people, I suppose. So this environment, with a little bit of background noise, a lot of artificial light, the odd new visitor, the odd creature. What do you say? Can I leave you here? I mean, I promise you there's way more fun to be had. Wise decision. I wouldn't stay here either. Let's start then with something completely different. Follow me. You can swim, right? Come on in. Come on in, the water's fine. Well, for now. Oh, don't worry, we'll dry off later. Wonderful. What do we think? Oh. No. Oh. It's okay. Oh, just have to dry off later. Oh. Such as it is, I suppose. Living in the water. Oh well. It'll all dry. Unless you choose to stay here, that is. Yeah. Splashing around. I mean, what do you think? Stay here? I thought we'd start with somewhere a little different. And the water's lovely and warm. I mean, how good are you at staying calm when you can't see what's beneath you? It's quite important here. Oh, okay. And if you saw something and you didn't know what it was, would you be happy to swim towards it or just kind of float, wait to see what happens? You will find this level has varying depths, so it won't always be waist height. It's all soaked. How good are you at regulating your breathing when you might otherwise panic, especially underwater? Good at holding your breath for extended periods? Maybe not. My pen's useless here. How would you react if the water around you started moving when you yourself were still? Okay. And do you trust the water to stay at these levels and these depths? You perhaps shouldn't. Just a piece of advice. How good are you at looking for movements beneath the surface? How well would you sleep here? Oh, as in practically, obviously because you're in water, but also with the knowledge that it's not just you in the water. Okay. If the water got slightly warmer for a moment, would you say anything? I'm kidding. What would you prefer to hear here? Silence or splashing? See, it's not that bad. Your splashing isn't attracting anything. Anything that's here is just busy, doing things, being on their way. Might not even notice you, if you're lucky. If you had to choose between knowing what lives here and not knowing, which would you choose? Well, I'm starting to think that we are stood in this for absolutely no reason whatsoever. My clipboard's getting all wet. It's no fun. No? Not somewhere you'd like to stay? Time for a quick swim? Not keen either, right, okay, well, in that case, I know where to go next. I know how to get out of here. So it's a quick wade in this direction. And where we'll go next has towels. Yeah, come on, this way. There we go. My goodness. I'm sorry. I thought that would be way more fun than it was. But, well, hopefully as we go, we'll dry out. The clipboard is certainly drying. I left the rest of the paperwork and maps behind. Maybe someone can use them if they dry them off. I don't know. But, back on terra firma and in a hotel, which is a good surrounding for humans. Everything you need, some privacy, somewhere to sleep, endless corridors. That is something humans like, yes? Yeah, thought so. Okay. Take a look around your surroundings and tell me, is this somewhere you could see yourself staying indefinitely? I like the decor here. Occasionally I like the people here. I mean, how would you respond to staying somewhere that feels very welcoming, but kind of isn't? And as you're walking past these rooms, would you feel inclined to go into any of them if you heard anything that felt a little out of the ordinary? If someone was calling to you, if someone was laughing, crying, anything that seemed to be enticing you in to one of those rooms, would the urge be to run past it or put your head round the door and see what's going on? I mean, are you interested in society membership? Even if you're not necessarily from the right time frame, you might do quite well. There is quite a thriving, let's call it a social scene here to join. Are you good at following rules, even if they haven't been explained? Do you like rules? Are you a rule follower? I'm not. I'm a rule breaker. If you're a rule follower, then here is the place for you. I can leave you here right now. Give you a change of clothing, take you back probably century or so, and I'm sure they'll take you in. How important is politeness to you? The British humans that come through here do tend to value it, even when they are annoyed or scared witless. Okay. And where would you feel safer? Sort of in one of these big rooms or down a large corridor? What's going to scare you less about being in this hotel? It's a personal preference thing. What do you know about the time period sort of the early 20th century, 1920s through the 1940s? If not a lot, would you be willing to learn? It would be advantageous to know that here. Okay. And if you were given a room key, but that didn't have a number on it, would you accept that? Would you take it? Would you be a little nervous of it? Okay. And you're okay checking out by 11 every day? I'm kidding on that last part, because this isn't really a hotel. So, am I leaving you here? You could certainly check into a room, have a quick shower, dry off properly from, where we've just been. Roll that dice again and carry on. I like your style. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, follow me. You're not too afraid of the dark, are you? Ah, good. Come on, this way. Okay, can you see anything at all? Okay, well, please don't worry, because I won't be leaving you, I promise. Although I have to say, I do quite like this level. Unfortunately, I don't think you'll see anything when you're down here that is actually down here. But what might happen is your mind might play a few tricks on you, most definitely. You might see things that aren't here. You might hear things that just aren't here. But your job is to ignore them and enjoy the darkness. If you like, you can close your eyes while we're here, so you're not straining to see. There's nothing you can do to see in this level of darkness, so you can close those eyes. Are you comfortable closing your eyes? And then what you'll need to do is start to, trust that sense of direction without needing visual confirmation. So trust that when you put your left foot in front of your right foot, it won't run into anything, it won't let you fall, it won't stumble. You can walk confidently forward. Well, certainly while I'm here. Would you like to try it, or not feeling particularly confident just yet? There are a few obstacles in the way, however, as I say, I'm busy mapping things out. Clever cartographer that I am, I know what's where. I can see it in my mind. Oh, if you do see or hear anything, let me know, because I promise you, 9 times out of 10, it's not a thing. And if it is a thing, I'll hear it or see it too. And we'll deal with that together. Don't worry. like the idea of living here? Tell me what happens if you hear a sound in the dark. Do you assign it a source immediately, or do you just sit and listen and try and assess exactly what it is you've heard? And what about following instructions? If you were given some instructions by somebody you couldn't see and therefore didn't know, would you be comfortable following them? I mean, at this stage, unfortunately, all you can do is take my word for it, that it is me, that I've followed you in here, and I'm not something, well, mimicking your guide. How vivid is your imagination when you're afraid? I'm assuming rather vivid. And what about your ears in all of this? Would you prefer to hear something moving? Or would you prefer to hear complete and utter silence? And what about if you felt a presence, which obviously you can't see? Would that be enough to make you want to leave? Kind of getting the vibe from you that you're not wildly interested in staying here forever. What about if there is danger? Are you able to stay still if your instincts are telling you to run? And what would you do with the loneliness here? Because it's not always advisable here to speak out loud, let's say. It's not always advisable to give away your position. Just because you can't see doesn't mean other things that live here can't see. Finally, tell me what you've seen and heard since we've been here, because I'll be amazed if you've seen and heard nothing other than me. So tell me then, time to move on. I have been picking up a vibe this entire time that this space is not for you. Come on, follow the sound of my voice. I'll get us out of here. I know exactly where I am and where we're going. Let's take to the streets. Here we are, taking to the streets. What do you think? I mean, this is about as bright as it gets. But you can still see. It's not complete darkness. And it's not the fluorescent lighting that we saw a little while ago. It's a pleasant level of light, I think. I rather enjoy it. It's not as perfect as the forest where I live, but I rather like it. What do you think? Could you see yourself staying in this neighbourhood? Is it somewhere you'd enjoy walking round? There are a lot of houses here. I mean, would you feel comfortable with that feeling of being watched? Like, even if you can't immediately tell from where. I'm sure it's all friendly and out of concern for you. What about your curiosity? So, a house that hasn't been assigned to you, if the door was open, lights were on, it looked inviting, you could hear voices inside, would you let your curiosity get the better of you, or would you essentially know what was going on? Curiosity is often not a helpful quality to possess here. What about the street lights? Do you feel safe under street lights? Even when they flicker and go out sometimes. Would it be a place of safety for you, do you think? Or what about hearing footsteps? That's something you're likely to hear often here. Might it upset you? Might it make you feel a little less lonely? There are lots of people here. A couple of creatures that I'd like to talk to you about. A couple of creatures that I've been mapping on this very street, in fact, but we'll get to that. Do you know much of the creatures that live here? Presumably you've been doing your research if you've decided to return. What about if a familiar voice were calling your name? Would you answer it? Or would you not turn around, put your head down, keep going? I mean, at this point, you should probably know the answer to that. I don't want to leave you somewhere where, well, you're not going to last very long. I'd like you to live a long and happy life here. You'll see me here often. I'm busy mapping it at the moment. As you passed a house, if a light turned on, might you pause? Getting the hang of these questions now. Would you like your own house? Yeah. Mortgage free on this road. So if you're going to live in the suburbs, there are some entities I'd like you to be aware of. When we were together last time you were here, there were a few creatures and entities that were around us. You heard of wretches and howlers? Okay. In that case, help me assess how well you would do against them. I mean, do you find it easy to identify threats based on a sound? That would be a useful skill to have. And in these low light conditions, how well do you think you'd be able to spot movement? Okay. How do you feel knowing that the residents here might not always have been the way they are now? Especially, don't worry. If you were talking to someone you thought was a human, but they were reluctant to step into the light, what would you put that down to? Fair enough. If there's sudden movement, how well do you trust yourself that you could stay absolutely still? Okay. I mean, what is your tolerance for close range encounters with scary things? I'd imagine it's quite high. if a humanoid creature started mimicking your movements, what would you do? Would you if a non-humanoid creature started doing it? Oh, great question. How confident are you that if you were startled, you wouldn't respond with a noise? Okay. And how good do you think you would be at differentiating between a real voice and a mimic of a real voice? We've talked about name calling, as in calling your name, not as in being mean. If something matched your breathing rhythm, would you notice it was there? What's worse, unfamiliar sounds or unfamiliar environments? Okay. How hard is it to not run if you think you're being pursued? And if you had to go indoors and stay indoors, could you do that? How long could you do that for? Okay. If you were followed over long distances, how well would you tolerate that? And how would you warn others without drawing attention to yourself? So your survival here really hinges on you not being noticed. How does that sound? Fair enough. It's quite a nice neighbourhood though. Oh well. So, let's move on. There's one more place I'd like to show you. However, looking at my maps just now, I think I might have found a different way out. So, if you're up for a challenge, let's go that way. Here, come on, let's go. Well, I have absolutely no idea where we are. I'm going to start just mapping it out, because do you know where we are? Have you been here before? I mean, would you like to live here? I don't know what's here yet, but we're still alive. That's a bonus. I mean, is it important for you to know where you are? And you're okay with not receiving any sort of instructions on how to live somewhere? If you were asked to stay here, would you need a reason? Are you the person that needs telling when it's time to go? Honestly, I thought I knew everywhere. Would you feel safer if this room had a name or nickname or someone that looked after it or someone that had been here? Hello? Hello? And how do you respond to places that feel expectant? If time passed differently here, would you notice? Are you good at letting go of any previous roles you might have had? Never seen this room before. Do you trust me that I've never seen this room before? Because you should. I mean, if I were you, I'd stay here. But I've got a horrible, horrible feeling that this room has decided that we're going to stay, and I haven't mapped it out, so I'm not entirely certain how to get out. Do you get that feeling? Like it doesn't want us to leave, but it's not because it's lonely. It's almost like fly on a web, like we've been collected or something like that. I'm not entirely certain we're getting out of here. Well, in the short term anyway. Let's try and backtrack, see where we can get, but you must promise me that you won't desert me again. Because if you do leave me here, well, I will get out and I will find you. But one step at a time. Let's start by backtracking, I think. Yeah, let's do that. Start by going this way. Yeah, come on. See how we get on.